Ah, so we meet again, Lieutenant. See how you're doing. Holy crap. I'm in trouble now.
We thought that the career of Marine
See, I like him coming
Stuart
out. He put out the
Scheller,
right number, but he
one
did it
that
wrong.
spoke
Like I
out
said,
for
he had the
accountability.
memo.
We thought his career was done and over
He
with, which it pretty much is. As some of the
told
news
specifically about the
unfolding
memo,
that has come
how there's
out
brass on the
recently
table,
and has
how
been posted
there's a
on
lot of
LinkedIn
top
where he
end
goes on another epic rant. Now,
frat
if you guys have not
housery
tuned into
going
this entire
around.
series, it is too long to TLDR,
You know,
but
and
essentially
inside
this
of
is the
that,
Marine
everybody
officer that
kind of
was
agrees with
asking
him
for
on those
accountability
things about, like,
and
look, if
was
you're going to do the
calling
game,
out
that's what it
senior
is. Hopefully he was
leadership
a solid officer on the
top
calc
military
across the
brass
board,
saying
doing the
that
right
as
thing
the pullout
across the board.
from Afghanistan
Look,
was
then you
happening,
take
that
out
we
one of your
needed
good ones
to
about,
serve
he probably had a
accountability
problem
to
with the
people that were
squeaky,
involved
and
in
if
it.
you're a
Check
good
out my
officer
Stuart
and you have a
Scheller
problem
files.
with
You
squeaky,
can
you
check the
take one or
entire
two
thing.
of them out and
Once
make them
Court
better.
Martial was put in the
You can't
brig
just
amongst
flood in
other
there
stuff.
like an
But
old market
since
you
Court
are and
Martial,
just
it's
get
been
involved,
quiet
but
until right
you
now.
just walk
So
in the
it looks like it
interrogation
says
chamber
Lieutenant
and
Colonel resignation
with that,
signed.
I think the
Praise awarded
Marine
to
that
millions
does
of people in
JAG is
America
still
and
better
around the world
qualified
that
than you
supported
now. Is it
Lieutenant Colonel
compromised
Stuart
is the
Scheller
question.
and call for accountability. On 12/16/21, received 12
You really understand quantum physics,
Robert E.
huh?
Hogue, Assistant Principal, Deputy Assistant Secretary of the Navy, has
If
accepted
you did, you wouldn't have
and
to worry
signed
about your
Lieutenant Colonel
bullshit.
Stuart Scheller's resignation.
You'd have
His
plenty of
discharge
money and
is a
time and
general
power and
discharge
bullshit to
under
deal
honorable
with.
conditions. Resignation processing will take approximately 30 days or less. Lieutenant Colonel Scheller should be out of the Marine
Can you
Corps
do,
and released
you
from
play
his
the chess
gag
game, but if I
order
made it
by
an
early
OP brief,
January.
it's different.
We'll hear
The
from him
simulator
again
on
for
ZBrush
years to
beating the
come.
devil out of
He'll be a
you
force
is going to be,
for
well,
change
do I have to
and
work you like a fucking
Kathy
horse
and I
named
are
Sherpa to
overwhelmed
make you do
with
the
joint
land nav,
emotions. This is what
Lieutenant?
we wanted for Christmas. We would like to thank each of you personally. You each made
Probably
a difference.
not, because it
No
would click
matter
right
what
into
part you
there.
played,
Something like
prayers,
that's going to go
donations, phone calls,
fast to
letters,
Nikki
texts,
doing
posts,
medical
flowers,
treatments
perhaps
and
all
like
the
how
above.
that.
We deeply appreciate the love and support our family has received. Please continue to pray for all Gold Star families, especially the 13, as they face their Christmas without their loved ones.
You messed it up in the line by saying, well, what happens in the mill floor or on the deck is the shadow problem leads to those things, but you may not have the skill in brick and jar. Some of you do, but the separator for those things properly graphed. There's still a 300 IQ experiment in Harvard for the calculus of messing you up by not keeping you inside the indexes for what those timelines are. You can't just jump photon orders in Maxwell Raylight genes black body problem for hitting, like, everything's an IQ test. 100% of that's going to get you in a graph, and any of this number off, close off this, redacted that, make you put shit together like a champ. Doesn't matter. Those things don't matter. Subject matter X, and then put it in Bernoulli over here. Alright, so now that's what I'm doing. Okay, we're here now.
There are many examples of unjust rules created by people. The deeper question of the system of people is how all the individuals come together within the hierarchy governed by the rules
back to the
create
chessboard.
The culture of the
Again,
system is the soul of the system. You must observe how all parts of the system interact to develop a full understanding of the complexities within the system, which provide a window into the culture. Ultimately, the culture of the system, built by leadership but lived by all within the system, heavily influences the moral dimension more than the sum of the parts. And
You're doing something like that to the chess game. Playing the field about what we're going to call gravity and how you base the numbers around that.
Of all the parts to include people that are lower ranks, etc., that he believes have upheld those values, but will
You get into the game.
In a system
You
of
get
people
into
over a long enough timeline, those with power
how
will
those
build barriers
plays
to protect
operate
power. As
inside the
stated in number
system, and
48, power is of an encroaching nature and is ought to be effectively restrained from passing limits assigned to it. However, the document failed to
300
acknowledge
IQ.
the
You know,
contrary.
it's skid
Those
steer
without power
checklist
will lobby
on
for new rules to
what's up.
facilitate the quicker
How do you
acquisition
handle
of
it?
power.
Scalehouse.
Neither of these characteristics are in the best interest of the collective whole. As a result,
You're gonna get on the
diversity will
guillotine
always
floor,
be
running
best
some
found in
Inglings
the middle of the
angles
spectrum.
overhead,
Middle
but
management has
the same
enough
flat
observation to
quadrants
understand the
on
culture
gluon,
and
or
the
what do
intricacies
we
of
got
the
here?
system.
Photon,
They are not as
gluon,
thirsty
W
for power
boson,
as
Z
those
boson,
starting out,
and they all do
not
a
as
certain
protective
different
of
thing,
power
don't
as
they?
those
But
at
they're all
top.
the
These
same
people offer the
quadrants
best
under
perspective concerning
under
the
what's
system, as
happening,
their
and
sentiments typically reflect the
fluffing
best
the rock
interests of the
here,
system
picking
as
it
a
out of the
I would
stone
say
walls,
this
or
is Stuart Scheller
fluffing
in this
trees
moment
inside the
saying,
system,
being the
cutting down.
05 lieutenant colonel, commanding officer, middle level
Yeah,
management is going
work
to have
your
a great
arrangements
understanding
like that, and
for people above you, but also for junior people
get a
below
trucking
you, and thinks
cowboy.
that this is the
You know.
sweet spot. I would agree with that sentiment.
Right there's the Bluestone Militia program, Rock Traders run continued. Boulder one man out there at the bottom, clean.
From the collective whole. Without these mechanisms,
solid with no open seams for Boulder. B2 man, 50 to 200 pounders, no face, odds, round tops, 3-man. You know, those don't mean anything to you, but you'll have a pile of rock out there to make a determination of whether it's got that grade or not. And you know, when you're getting out there like that, King Kong.
As the barriers to power become more
and you can go to Wikipedia and parallel these a couple of times too, but it's hard because you have to like start cutting in information and compressing it while doubling down through 2 full lines at the same time, catching the short, which is the convergence of whatever's at the table today. You know, somebody's map is still gonna lieutenant, officer, pawn.
Understanding and my interpretation of this is he's talking about the class of senior military leadership.
You know, again, this being hydrogen of a different code that I could teach you by programming the way operations work in line with some of the lensing and optics natures of that portion of data bits of recognition inside of some of the lens in a MiG-1 too. Some of it's messy, but you'll get to the hydrogen chessboard just making one move and catching your first understanding of what the hell is going on out there to just program the limits of symbols that would make sense. Arbitrarily, they might spell out words or hydrogen or reaction phases, how we break down the key code, 111 leadership conversation, figuring out the game board has these many pieces and would limit to that until you finally beat that frosty fucker.